Live from the Tri-State's news and weather leader, this is 14 News.
Right now at 6, it's an alert day, and for good reason. Freezing rain, sleet, and snow make it a nightmare on the roads. Crews warn it could get worse as the night goes on.
We are spread across the Tri-State tonight with live team coverage to help keep you safe. We've learned that Ohio County is under a state of emergency. Let's get right to meteorologist Eric Garlick in the First Alert Weather Center with the very latest on this storm. Eric?
That winter storm warning is going to continue for a couple more hours across the tri-state, in particular southwestern Indiana and western Kentucky, where we still have some snow across the tri-state and coming down a little bit lighter than what it was earlier this afternoon and evening, but still seeing a little bit added to accumulations where the most snow that I've seen come down is about 5.5 inches, and that's coming out of the Evansville area. Still dealing with some moderate snowfall from Jasper down into Owensboro, Tell City, Rockport down into Greenville as well. Temperatures much colder than yesterday, and colder weather will continue to move in. Temperatures in the mid-20s right now. We'll see teens as we go through the overnight hours, and then eventually single digits as we head into the weekend. Winds are pretty strong, gusting at 37 miles per hour right now in Evansville, making those feel like temperatures in the single digits. We're going to be dealing with some bitter cold temperatures as we head through the weekend, and another round of some snow as we head into next week. I'll tell you everything you need to know coming up in your full forecast.
Eric, thanks. And look at this. Several drivers had a tough time getting up a hill on South Green River Road in Evansville. This is near Lincoln Avenue intersection. You can see several cars spinning out on the snow and ice-covered roads. Some had to try several times to get up the hill. Others just gave up and backed down. Thankfully, no one wrecked while our cameras were rolling.
All right, coming in today, I actually traded with my wife. Lisa's car actually has all-wheel drive, and so I was able to make it. But I was really kind of blowing past a lot of people who clearly had front-wheel drive cars or pickup trucks, and if they're not 4x4, they were dangerous out there today.
I did have all-wheel drive, and I still landed on the side of the road on my way in, and it was a slippery situation for a lot of people out there on their way in.
It really was. We've been out monitoring road conditions all day long. Paige Hagan is out in the First Alert Interceptor to show you roads firsthand. Paige, where are you right now?
Hey, Randy and Jackie. Right now, we just passed the Lloyd overpass heading southbound on Highway 41. And my driver here, 14 News photographer Adam, and I have been out here on the roads for several hours now, tracking the conditions. And I got to tell you guys, it is treacherous out here. We have seen numerous people stuck. People are fishtailing. We just saw Alexis in front of us do just that, taking a right-hand turn onto southbound Highway 41. Lots of people stuck, a lot of abandoned vehicles, and really the wind is making the conditions even worse, and the snow continues to fall tonight. So really not really safe out here, guys, at all. People are still out and about, though, to my surprise. So if you are able to stay indoors tonight, state officials and county officials are urging you to do so. We are live in the 14 First Alert Interceptor in Evansville. Paige Hagan, 14 News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Paige, and we'll check back in with you in a little bit. Let's move across the bridge now, across the Twin Bridges to Henderson. More than a half a dozen trucks are out right now, covering hundreds of miles. Evan Gorman is live along Highway 41. And Evan, you rode along with the crew today as well.
Yeah, Jackie, that's right. After about an hour of being out with them and getting a feel for the conditions these crews work in, I was ready to pack it up. But they've been at it now for more than 12 hours, and they still got a little ways left to go. Across Henderson County tonight.
But there's nothing you can do about it except keep running your route and then come back and we'll go over it again.
Highway crews have been hard at work, 12 hours covering approximately 440 asphalt miles.
You double that because you push it one way, you turn around, you come back and push it the other lane.
Loading down trucks with a mix of salt and sand.
3-to-1 mixed ratio. That way we've got the salt doing the melting, but we've got the sand there for traction.
The roads today, some light traffic, and the highway department says to be mindful if drivers are in the path of a plow.
They cannot get over the way a smaller vehicle can. So give them the right of way. They're just trying to get the roads clear for you.
Exactly how long it would take to clear all of the county roads is hard to say. That's because there are too many factors.
The variables depends on the ice. It depends on snow, drifting of the snow. how much traffic is out there.
The Henderson County Road Department plans to work for about another half hour. Then they'll have to decide about working tomorrow and into the weekend as well. But they do tell me they do have funds set aside to help cover some of the overtime expenses. We're live tonight along 41 in Henderson County. Evan Gorman, 14 News.
Evan, thanks a lot. The winter weather is affecting travel not only on the roads, but at the airport too. Kate O'Rourke is live there now. And Kate, every flight canceled at EVV today?
That's right, Randy. No flights in or out of the airport today. And as you can see, I'm pretty much the only person here in what feels like a ghost town. Now, passengers waited here for hours today. Some of them, their flights getting canceled delayed 3, 4, 5 times before finally getting canceled. Now, the airport finally made that announcement over the intercom that all flights would be canceled this afternoon. Something I learned here today, crews actually do not use salt on the runways. That's because salt is too corrosive to the aluminum airplanes. They use a different de-icing material specially designed for airport pavement. Now, even though crews started before sunrise this morning and spent the entire day treating the runways and de-icing the planes, it wasn't enough to get those planes in the air safely.
The winds have to die down so that they can de-ice the plane because it's too windy right now. They can't get the de-icing fluid, I guess, to stay on the plane. So I don't think it's going to get less windy. And then they also said the runway is pretty bad, and obviously, as you can see outside, it's not getting any better.
I'll be honest, looks more like Detroit down here than Evansville, right?
Now, canceled flights means that passengers spent their afternoon trying to figure out their travel plans, many of them hoping to hop on a flight tomorrow and get to their destination. Well, as of right now, we believe that the flights will be taking off as usual tomorrow. I'm live in the Evansville Regional Airport. Kate O'Rourke, 14 News.
Thank you, Kate. The combination of snow and ice is causing problems at airports around the region. This flight view map shows almost every airport in the storm's path with delays and cancellations, including Indianapolis, Nashville, and Cincinnati. Some airlines have issued travel advisories allowing travelers to reschedule flights for free.
And now something to show you from my own camera reel rather. I learned to drive in snow and in ice in Minnesota. I even have an all-wheel drive vehicle, and I still slid off the road this afternoon, so this picture sums up my weather day. But we want to see your winter storm pics. You can send them to us at upload@14news.com, or you can post them to our Facebook page. Be sure to include your location and a description of what we're seeing, and you may see yours on air. We'll show you some in a bit later here on 14 News at 6.
On air and streaming with our news app. Streaming news is sponsored by Kenny Kent Toyota, Indiana's #1 volume Toyota dealer. You're watching the Tri-States News and Weather Leader. This is 14 News at 6.
Well, some people hate the snow, some love it. Those kids out sledding probably are in the latter group. A lot of Tri-State students had a snow day today here in Evansville. Some hit up Wrights Hill to have a little bit of fun. Not a whole lot of fun out on the roads right now, though.
In Owensboro, there have been reports of more than a dozen accidents today, and more are expected overnight. Katie Kapusta joins us now. And Katie, what are road conditions like where you're at?
Yeah, Jackie, right now in possibly the most dangerous area of Owensboro right now, I'm on US 60 East. It's right behind me, and that's where a lot of those accidents occurred today. Officials with emergency management tell me that at this point, they are continuing to monitor the storm. The county is just plowing snow right now and no longer salting the roads. The high winds make it hard to keep up, blowing and drifting the snow across area roads, and visibility is also low with that wind and snow. A spokesperson for the sheriff's office tells me at this point, they suggest you just stay off the roads.
You know, and just try to stay in the lane of travel. You know, if there's other tracks and stuff like that, I would stay in the same tracks as another vehicle if you can. You know, definitely don't try to pass anybody or anything like that. Just, you know, the main thing is driving slow, keeping a safe distance. That's going to allow you time to react.
And as you can see, the snow is still falling. Crews are going to be out all night trying to clear these roads, but that's a reminder, just be cautious throughout the weekend as you're driving. Live in Owensboro, Katie Kapusta, 14 News.
Katie, thanks. Well, volunteers at Evansville's Dream Center came in today to make sure that kids in the neighborhood got a warm meal on this snow day. They made and served more than 150 meals today to kids in and around the Jacobsville neighborhood, so they would be sure to have at least one nutritious meal.
I'm thankful that the Dream Center brought my kids meals by because it's really cold outside. The Dream Center is a good organization for the kids around the neighborhood, and my kids, they love going.
200 pounds of food was donated from the food bank for today. The Dream Center serves more than 300 kids a week, working to be a positive influence in their lives.
Thanks a lot. Back outside, Paige Hagan is in the 14 First Alert Interceptor.
And Paige, you've been driving around for a little over 2 hours now. Is it getting any better?
Yeah, Jackie and Randy, it really isn't. We've seen a lot of people fishtailing over the course of those several hours, a lot of abandoned vehicles, and a lot of people getting stuck and strangers helping strangers trying to push their vehicles out of the heavy piles of slush that we've seen. Let's take a live look right now out on westbound Lloyd Expressway. This is over by Wrights High School, and we are coming up on North Barker exit, and a lot of people are going really slow, and we are hoping that you stay indoors. City officials are urging people not to travel out on these conditions right now because the wind is really making things even more treacherous, guys.
Okay, Paige, thanks. And of course, we're going to be monitoring road conditions throughout the night, posting any updates on our 14 First Alert app.
And you can see live radar, get special weather videos from our First Alert weather team on it too. It's free. It's at your app store. Just search 14 News.
You can also use the app to send us your snow day photos. Submit your pictures, and we'll show them live right here on 14 News at 6 and more at 10.
Live on the Tri-States News and Weather Leader, this is 14 News.
Right now at 10, dangerously icy roads across the tri-state after the first winter storm of the year.
And right now, you're about to take a live look from our 14 First Alert Interceptor. Many roads covered in ice and several inches of snow. Officials recommending drivers take it easy out there on the roads. Good evening, I'm Jackie Monroe.
And I'm Randy Moore. Our winter storm warning has expired, but not before several inches of snow. Eric Garlick is in the Weather Center. So, Eric, how much snow did we get, and will we see any more?
Well, generally looking around 5 inches with a few higher amounts across the tri-state, but anywhere between 2 and about 6 inches all across the tri-state. But the snow is out of the way, which is good news. However, we are going to be dealing with some treacherous conditions overnight tonight, thanks to some blowing and drifting and some cold temperatures that are going to prevent the salt from working as well as it could. 23 in Evansville, 24 in Owensboro. We'll see those temperatures dipping down into the teens as we head through the overnight hours. Take a look at these wind gusts, though. 30 miles per hour in Mount Carmel and Carmi, 29 in Evansville. That's making those feel like temperatures even colder. Sustained winds anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour, and that will be possible through the overnight hours. So it is going to blow that snow over the roads, especially if they're wet. That snow is going to stick to it and turn to ice. But tomorrow morning, waking up to some cold conditions, calmer winds. However, we are in store for some bitter cold temperatures this weekend, plus more snow. I'll have the snow totals from today and tell you just how much we could see on Monday coming up in our full forecast.
Eric, thanks a lot. Well, the snow may have stopped for now, but it's the drop in temperatures and that wind. All that's what's going to cause even more concern overnight. Paige Hagan is live in the First Alert Interceptor. She's been tracking conditions throughout the day and night. Paige?
Hello, Randy. How are you? Well, we are on Interstate 69 heading northbound right now, and it is still treacherous out there, but some improvements have been made. We've noticed snow plowers have managed to get some pavement on the ground. So we are starting to see pavement and lane lines. So that is a major improvement that we've seen since this afternoon. Earlier, that 5 inches of snow accumulation on top of the ice. On top of that ice layer from the freezing rain last night made for some really slushy conditions, and it was a hot mess on the Lloyd Expressway and Highway 41. We were going up and down those areas quite a bit, and today we've seen major thoroughfares like the Lloyd and 41 in bad shape. Numerous reports of slide-offs and abandoned vehicles happening this afternoon, but things look to be improving, so we will send it back to you in the studio.
I've seen people having trouble at intersections trying to get through the intersection. I've seen people having trouble stopping. They're sliding everywhere. I normally don't tell people to get off the roads because of snow, but this is one of these events because it's snowing so heavy and so fast. I would recommend people who don't need to be out not to be out.
And Sheriff Dave Wedding right there telling us to take it slow because overnight, as those temperatures continue to drop into the teens, this entire layer on the roads right now is just going to freeze over. So it's going to be a really treacherous again in the mornings. Take it slow, give lots of space. We are heading toward Evansville on a ramp. Ramps are really bad. Clover leaves are really bad. So take it slow out there, guys.
Will do. Thanks a lot. Now, if you're out driving tonight or this weekend, AAA offers some good tips. Try to stay 8 to 10 seconds behind the car in front of you. And if you hit ice, it can take a long time for you to stop. Now, if you're going up a hill, try not to stop. Keep that momentum going. Avoid using cruise control and keep your gas tank at least half full so that you can keep your car warm if you get stuck. And of course, just slow down and take it easy.
Road crews and plow drivers have been working since early this morning to treat and clear those roads.
But there's nothing you can do about it except keep running your route and then come back and we'll go over it again.
We tagged along with a road worker in Henderson County. He drives one of several trucks out working to make those roads safer. He tells us drivers should be mindful of plows and give them space. He says they need the time to get everything cleared and ready, and it depends on several factors like the amount of ice, snow, and traffic. Across the river in Indiana, the Department of Transportation says they'll have crews out tomorrow. And if you're out on the roads, don't be surprised if you see one of those. EPD tweeted this picture this afternoon. The department has a fleet of Humvees they'll be using until travel conditions improve. They say they use the vehicles to respond to several slide-offs and crashes during the day.
No Humvees, but Owensboro police were still out helping with icy roads today. Shaylee Clark rode along with an officer as the snow came down.
I'm hoping just the more awareness has made people be a little more cautious this morning.
But officers still hit the road, ready to help when needed. Public Information Officer Andrew Bell says they generally increase patrol when the weather gets nasty.
We have a couple of detectives that actually suited back up in the uniforms and are going to drive around. We expect to deal with more collisions. We expect to deal with more motorist assist in this type of weather event. So it's going to be not all hands on deck, but pretty close to that.
The roads were nothing but ice in some areas, but OPD only received a few calls for cars that slid off the roads.
Why do you think it is that not many accidents have occurred today?
Well, again, I think most people have a healthy respect for this type of weather, for the condition that the roads are in. Most people are going to be more cautious when the roads are slick like this versus when they're completely clear.
Officer Bell also said he believes schools and businesses being closed today also kept people off the street this morning, which then reduced the number of collisions. Either way, he says the officers at OPD are always prepared when the weather gets rough. In Owensboro, Shaylee Clark, 14 News.
As the day went on, we started hearing of more and more slide-offs.
In Indiana, state police say they responded to more than 300 slide-offs from midnight to 8 p.m. And when those cars slide off and get stuck, it's tow trucks that come to the rescue. Drivers were busy with steady calls from people being stuck. One driver even came to the rescue of a semi. Robert Butler says it's a job you have to love.
When somebody runs off the road or has an accident or things like that, we're right there to clean up that and get them home safe and try to get ourselves home safe. Give me 1 second.
Butler says he was actually hit while on the side of the road several years ago. So if you're on the roads, be on the lookout for tow trucks as well. The snow and ice aren't keeping everyone at home tonight, though. We headed down to Franklin Street and found the Mascos filled with lots of people having drinks and listening to live music. The staff tell us even in the winter weather, they expect crowds to grow as the nights roll on.
It was a little slow this afternoon, but people are getting out, the music is going, we're having a good time. Later tonight, we got the hen house parlors are playing. They start at 10 o'clock, and they'll be going till about 2 in the morning.
And not to worry, the partiers won't have to drive home. We heard from you, Cabby, who say they are open through the night despite the snow. They tell us so far today they've picked up at least 2,500 calls.
And while some bars are open like that, many businesses were closed tonight and will be again tomorrow. We're scrolling the list to the bottom of your screen. You can also find it on the 14 First Alert app. Well, this winter weather all but closed the Evansville airport today. Every flight was canceled, creating headaches for travelers. The snow was a little more fun for others who hit the hills to do some sledding.
You're watching the Tri-States News and Weather Leader. This is 14 News at 10.
A live look from our 14 First Alert Interceptor. Those roads only getting worse as the night goes on. Lots of snow and ice almost anywhere you go in the Tri-State. So be alert, be very careful if you're out driving tonight or this weekend, because there are so many accidents. Several law enforcement agencies say you could have to wait for help. The National Weather Service says it's a good idea to have things like blankets, bottled water, and a flashlight handy. Also, keep your gas tank half filled, so you can at least half filled, that is, so you can keep your car running and stay warm.
The messy roads in western Tennessee led to a massive pileup on the interstate. In all, 20 vehicles, including several semis, collided along this stretch of I-40. Afterwards, Tennessee's EMA announced a state of emergency on all Tennessee interstates. Authorities are asking people to stay off the roads there unless absolutely necessary. Poor road conditions in the Tri-State mean you won't get your paper delivery tomorrow. The Courier and Press and the Gleaner say they won't be delivering Saturday editions of the paper because of travel problems. And if you do usually get the paper, the Saturday edition will come with the Sunday paper.
Not just roads, this winter weather brought air travel to a standstill. All flights at Evansville Regional Airport were canceled, creating a headache for travelers. Kate O'Rourke has that part of the story.
An early morning and a long day for Ned Cowan. He thought he was catching a 6 a.m. flight to Atlanta until about 15 minutes before scheduled takeoff.
The captain came out first thing this morning at like 6 a.m. when we were supposed to leave and kind of told us the situation. But after that, I haven't heard anything else.
Waiting and waiting.
Everyone was waiting at the gate, and then they started to delay it. And since then, they've delayed it kind of each hour by an hour. Around noon, a glimmer of hope.
All passengers, flight 1556 service to Atlanta.
Cowan and passengers going through security one final time.
So I'm going to get to Atlanta, it'll be all right.
Only for the flight to be canceled. Cowan has a place to stay tonight.
I have my apartment here in Evansville, so I'm fortunate with that. I don't have to get a hotel or anything. I don't have a car here, so I'll have to get a rental or something or an Uber again, but at least I have a place to stay.
Not all passengers can say the same. Garrett Solomon is trying to get home to Detroit. After a few delays, his flight was canceled. On the phone with the airline, he learned the next flight out isn't until 9 tomorrow night.
I'll figure this out as we go.
He says his next best plan is to brave the roads and drive a rental car to St. Louis to catch a flight home.
If it's got seats, I'll take it.
And some flights are already being impacted tomorrow. At EVV, 2 early morning flights are showing canceled. An American and United flight to Chicago and the early morning flight to Charlotte is delayed an hour. Many other flights still show scheduled, but just be sure to check with your airline before heading out.
And snow like this doesn't happen all the time, so when it does, you take lots of pictures. We love when you share some of those pictures with us. Check out this one we saw from the Vandenberg County Sheriff's Office. This is Deputy Chris Rowe, and he went on a call and learned that the person had just had surgery. So he filled out some paperwork related to the run and then shoveled the sidewalk on his way out. What did you take pictures of today? Send your shots to us at upload@14news.com, and we're going to show some of the highlights at the end of the show. Volunteers at Evansville's Dream Center helping out in the cold. They made sure that kids in the neighborhood got a warm meal on this snowy day. They made and served more than 150 meals today to kids in and around the Jacobsville neighborhood, so they'd be sure to have at least one nutritious meal.
I'm thankful that the Dream Center brought my kids meals by because it's really cold outside. The Dream Center is a good organization for the kids around the neighborhood, and my kids, they love going.
200 pounds of food was donated from the food bank for today. The Dream Center serves more than 300 kids a week, working to be a positive influence in their lives.
A look now from our Lloyd Expressway sky cam. A quiet night on the road. The snow has passed, but could we see more? Eric Garlick is working on the first alert forecast.
Here's your 14 first alert forecast.
Taking a look at the winter storm warning, it has expired for most of the tri-state. Our eastern edge still underneath that winter storm warning. However, the snow is out of here. We are going to be dealing with some treacherous travel, snow blowing and drifting overnight tonight. 29-mile-per-hour wind gust in Evansville right now, 30-mile-per-hour wind gust in Mount Carmel and Carmi, 31-mile-per-hour gust in Owensboro. Take a look at these sustained winds out of the north and northwest at around 15 miles per hour in Evansville, 21 miles per hour in Mount Carmel, 18 miles per hour out of the northwest in Carmi. So all the snow that did come down is going to blow around a little bit. Makes it a little bit hard to tell just how much snow we did have, and definitely is going to make those roads treacherous through the overnight hours. The good news is the snow has stopped, and take a look at what it does for visibility. Looking at all the visibility back to in pretty good shape. Taking a live look along the Twin Bridges, you can see just had a snowplow truck actually dumped some salt across the southbound bridge. We'll probably see that coming back across the northbound bridge, but starting to see a little bit of pavement on the roads and starting to see speeds pick up a little bit across the Twin Bridges and on the Lloyd Expressway. Starting to see those crews being able to catch up with the snow now that it isn't coming down anymore, but still going to be dealing with some treacherous travel overnight and likely through the morning hours tomorrow. Here's where the snow is right now along 65 from Louisville back toward Bowling Green. Elsewhere, dealing with just cloudy skies. That's how it's going to be as we head through the overnight hours. We'll hold on to that cloud cover. That's going to help temperatures keep a little bit warmer than what they could get down to. We'll bottom out in the teens as we head through the overnight hours, and we'll see that cloud cover with us through the day tomorrow. Here's a look at the snowfall totals. This is preliminary at about 8:45. I took all those snow totals that we did have. Generally looking at areas seeing 3 to 5 inches. We did have a couple 5.5 inch marks near Evansville and into Henderson, but generally 3 to 5 inches is a safe bet, closer to 5 inches across most of the tri-state, especially across southwestern Indiana and western Kentucky. A little bit less as you head up toward Flora only, as well as Fairfield. But pretty good dosing of snow after some ice that we did have last night. Ice totals were a little bit lower end of the forecast, and that's why we saw those snowfall totals a little bit higher in the forecast for what we had yesterday. Cold tonight, though, 23 in Evansville, 22 in Newburgh, 23 in Greenville, 24 in Owensboro, Tell City at 25 degrees. Factor in those strong winds. Feels like 9 in Henderson, 7 in Mount Carmel, 11 in Oakland City, 8 in Carmi, 10 in Owensboro, and 19 in Tell City. Fast forwarding to midnight, everybody dealing with single-digit wind chill temperatures overnight tonight, even a few of us dipping down below zero, especially across Illinois. Fairfield feeling like 1 below tomorrow at 6 a.m. By 10:30, we'll see single digits and then low teens as we head through the afternoon. Definitely going to feel cold tomorrow, especially with that nice blanket of snow on the ground that we had today. As we head toward tomorrow night, looking at those single digits popping up, and we'll be close to below zero once again as we head into Sunday. For tonight, we'll see the snow pretty much out of here right now. A few light flurries will still be possible. North winds 10 to 25 miles per hour. It will be windy through the overnight hours, though. A little bit of wind tomorrow morning, only warming up to about 25 degrees. It's going to be cold, well below average. And now we're tracking our next snow system. This is Monday morning. You can see the snow setting up from Indy over towards Cincinnati, but the big snowmaker for us will come through late Monday afternoon into early Monday evening. You can see these darker bands of snow moving through the tri-state during the afternoon and evening hours. We could see 1 to 3 inches. Early forecast totals looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. And the snow we got today, not going to go anywhere. Going to be cold all weekend. 25 degrees tomorrow, 24 on Sunday. We'll warm up to near freezing on Monday, but we'll see another blanket of snow, 1 to 3 inches again. Early estimated forecast for that. and then we'll see some cold weather returning on Tuesday with highs around 15 degrees, single-digit lows, and then we'll stay well below freezing for Wednesday and Thursday, but warming up a little bit as we head into Friday.
Once or twice a year, kids in the tri-state get the chance to do that. Take a tube down the hill on some fresh snow. Today was certainly one of those days. Most tri-state students had a snow day today from school. Here in Evansville, some hit up Wrights Hill to have a little fun.
And a different kind of ice, but the Thunderbolts were in action tonight looking for a win as the playoffs inch closer.